We are suffering. We are suffering for Nigeria. It's not like this before, but we want change for good. Hunger day for Nigeria. Children now, they are hungry. Adults are hungry. Sufferness is too much for Nigeria.
The Illuminated Family of God TV, a channel for prophecies, wisdom, knowledge. Sons and daughters of light, subscribe to our channel for more knowledge from God. God bless you. Prophecy, prophecy, prophecy. The will of the Lord is for everyone to be saved and not to be destroyed or to be lost, but for everyone to come to the knowledge of God's will of good and not of evil, for every lives and for all humanity. Prophecy is not just predicting future events. Prophecy is knowing the future by the Spirit of God to bring change to the ones that are not the will of God for the nations or for personal lives. Knowledge can come from God that may sound evil because God sees the end from the beginning, but it takes those who are involved to correct their mistakes to make things right. Few months ago the man of God said, Nigeria will face serious hardship and suffering because of the newly elected president. He further said, it's not the will of God for the newly elected president to be the president of Nigeria, even though some men of God stood against it and said the president was chosen by God because they've been bribed, according to the man of God. Here is the results to that effect of prophecy from the man of God.
It's your duty. Let me tell you all something. Anyone who talks in favor of the one day announced as the president-elect has been bribed. That is just the truth. Anyone who is talking in favor in the one they have announced as the president-elect in Nigeria, if you hear a pastor saying words in favor of him, just know that that pastor has been bribed. Just know that that pastor has been bribed. I saw them. There are very many. There are many. The Spirit of the Lord opened my eyes to see them. I saw their faces. I know some of them. I can be able to identify them when I see them. So if a pastor or a prophet is talking in favor of the presidential elect in Nigeria, just know that that person has been bribed. And that's the truth. I saw it. The Spirit of the Lord opened my eyes to see. I saw it clearly. There are many. And if I see them, I will know them. If I see them in true life, I will know them. I saw them. And the ones I know, the ones I've seen them. So if you hear a person talking in favor of the presidential elect they announced in Nigeria, if you hear a pastor talking in favor of him, know that that person is not from God. Know that that prophet, that pastor is a false prophet. And he has been bribed to keep Nigeria in darkness. Let him that have ears, let them hear.
Now let's turn our attention to Nigeria, Africa's largest country by population and the continent's second largest economy. That economy, however, is on the brink of a meltdown. Nigeria's inflation is at about 30%, 30, the highest it has been in almost 3 decades. And it's taking a toll. Yesterday, the people took to the streets to show that they'd had enough.
We are suffering. We are suffering for Nigeria. It's not like this before, but we want change for good. Hunger day for Nigeria. Children now, they are hungry. Adults are hungry. Sufferness is too much for Nigeria.
Nigeria is no stranger to inflation. It has seen double-digit inflation continuously for all of the last 8 years. But 30% is no joke. Food inflation is even higher. It's at 35.4%. And that is a hammer blow to ordinary people, especially those who are less well off. There are millions who are suffering in Nigeria.
There is suffering in the land. There is suffering for the worker. You know, no worker can live on 30,000 minimum wage. And over 150 million Nigerians are living below poverty line. Poverty, when you say below it, those are the people that can't get something to eat on a daily basis.
So how did the situation get so bad? Two main reasons. One, the withdrawal of Nigeria's fuel subsidy. It happened the day President Bola Tinubu took office. He announced this in his inaugural address. The fuel subsidy was gone and petrol prices surged from about $1 per gallon to $2.8 a gallon. It may not sound like very much in absolute terms, but imagine if your petrol prices tripled in a day. That would wreak havoc on your budget. And not just for individuals, this applies to businesses as well. Transportation costs skyrocket. All types of transportation, like the moving of food from the farm to the market, or moving goods from the docks to warehouses. These rising costs are passed on to customers, and eventually everything becomes more expensive. So Nigeria's fuel subsidy withdrawal had a domino effect, directly leading to the surging inflation, and the president would have seen this coming. Then why did he withdraw the subsidy? Because of external pressure. The IMF, or International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank both recommended the withdrawal of fuel subsidies. They wanted Nigeria to join the rest of the global free market and level the playing field. Plus, the move was good for Nigeria's government as well. They were spending billions of dollars on the subsidy. It was becoming increasingly unsustainable. So in theory, it was supposed to be a good move. But in practice, it proved to be disastrous. Perhaps because it was done in one fell swoop. The shock of removing the whole subsidy destabilized Nigeria, and now everyone is scrambling to limit the damage, to keep starvation at bay. The government has announced some measures, like stipends for unemployed youth, and a new food stamp system that's being proposed, not to mention the free rice distribution system that is already underway, where people are dying in stampedes as supplies run out. Meanwhile, Nigeria's central bank is raising interest rates. It raised the rate by 4% yesterday to 22.75. This kind of hike has not been seen for 17 years. It highlights the crisis in Nigeria. Now, I mentioned that there were two things driving inflation. The first was the fuel subsidy withdrawal. We've talked about that. The second was devaluing the currency, the naira. From 2015, the currency has been pegged to the US dollar. This means the value was kept fixed. Its price was not allowed to change, so its real value was never reflected. This had artificially boosted the currency's value, and it helped Nigeria when it came to imports. They could buy essential goods at reasonable rates. But this currency peg was also undone by President Tinubu. He unpegged the Nigerian currency and then devalued it twice. Theoretically, this was another good move. It should have improved investor confidence, brought in foreign investment, and led to creation of jobs and industries. But again, the move backfired. The naira sank to record lows. This means imports are now far more expensive. Those costs are also passed on to customers, and once again, inflation surges. So these were President Tinubu's twin reforms that have wreaked havoc. The intentions may have been good, but the implementation was horrific, and Nigerian people are paying the price, literally.